I'm thinking we wait for like 5 minutes so that people can
Okay.
join. But we have a lot to talk about. And because I don't want the session to be too long, I would not also like to wait so long. Because usually, these sessions, I have never done any session that is less than 1 hour.
Eh.
So I don't want it to exceed 1 hour, because looking at these
Is this
questions,
life
I
now
know that
replacing your Friday videos?
no. But I really needed to do this live, because sometimes you cannot exhaust what you want to say in a sit-down video.
Yeah.
And it makes me break the video into part 1, part 2, part 3. However, whenever I break a video like that, all the parts do not have the same views.
Okay.
It could be that the last part now has all the views, the other one. So I noticed that disparity. So I feel like if I want to discuss something in depth, then we would have to do a live. So we share everything that we have to share in one video. And once people understand that it's live, then they are more comfortable with seeing a longer video.
Yes.
Also, they can all ask questions during the live session.
I think that's fair. It's better.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to just wait for 5 minutes. I'm going to wait for only 5 minutes. So at 6:05, we're going to start, just because we have a lot to talk about and I do not want us to waste time. Naomi is here loaded. Thank you, Naomi, for joining us. Although I know you
Good to
have
be here.
a lot of coursework to do, but thank you for joining us. Thank you for agreeing to do this.
No problem.
How is Wales, and how is the
Well,
weather?
it's super cold here right now. Compared to when I
What's the
came in.
temperature like?
Currently
Today's temperature?
is four. I think
Oh,
it's 4 degree. It's 4, right?
4 degrees is quite better now. It's better
Yes.
than.
Compared to
Uh,
like yesterday. Yesterday was -1, -2. Was just fluctuating though.
is it snowing in Wales?
Yeah, a little snow, not too much. I actually wanted that plenty snow so that I can do the one you did the other time. Is it the
You
snowman?
can go now. I had to travel to a city that was snowing, because London Snow could not build a snowman. So I had to pay my way down
Okay.
to Sheffield. I went to
And so
Sheffield.
okay, when you went to see Grace the other time.
Yes,
Okay.
because some cities do not snow as much. But if you want to have that snow effect, you have to leave that Wales and go to where it's
Yeah.
snowing.
I will
Yeah.
definitely do that. I will.
Okay, I see that your voice is disappearing at some point. Are you sure we're not going to use that earpiece?
Okay, let me call it. Let me have the earpiece. Let's see.
Okay, welcome, guys. We are just waiting for a few more people to join. We are starting by 6, in less than a minute, 5 minutes past the time, depending on where you're watching us from.
Clearer now.
Nigeria is 3 p.m., UK is 2 p.m.
Can
Okay.
you hear me clearer? Is it clear?
Yes, I can. I just hope your voice doesn't disappear.
I hope so too.
Okay, so I'm so excited, because do you know why I decided to bring this video too? I did a video on visa application, on UK student visa application 2 years ago when I was in the UK in 2020, either late 2020 or early 2021. So I did that video with a colleague of mine who was a self-sponsored student. The video was in 4 parts.
Okay.
Now, when the rules of UK student visa changed, when it was changed from Tier 4 student visa to normal general student visa, I did an updated video, another 4-part video, right? And I noticed that the video of 2021 is still having traction. People are still viewing that video and asking questions. And then the 4-part video I made is still getting a lot of views. And when I check the search term that people use to find my channel is UK student visa. When I check What are my subscribers watching? UK student visa. So YouTube is
Everybody
telling
wants to
me,
japa to UK.
YouTube is telling me, couscous, your channel, your viewers need this content. Your
Yeah.
viewers are interested in this topic. So I'm like, I have
Mm.
done, what else am I supposed to do? I have done a video showing a complete student visa application from start to finish.
I think I've seen that your video.
I have answered a lot. What else do you want me to say? Oh yeah, come to this life. Come and see, because I don't know what else to say.
I think it's
That's
better
why
this way. It's better
that's
this
why
way.
I did this session. So thank you for agreeing to, at least feature, because I know it's going to involve a lot of personal questions, and for you to accept to feature and answer all our questions. Thank you so much, even in your busy schedule.
Anytime, girl.
All right, so I think we're going to start because it's 6:06 now. I have my
All right.
laptop here. That's why it looks like I'm always looking this way. But that's because I'm also going to be monitoring the chat box. So guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Couscous and I'm hosting Naomi today on the channel. Naomi is an international student in the UK. And she's going to be sharing with us her visa application journey because she also applied with her dependents. So yes, she's going to share with us that entire process. We're going to be talking about the application process, the visa application fees, how much she paid for the fees and the IHS, how much she used as proof of funds, how long she saved the money in her account before she was able to submit the bank statement as proof of funds. Well, we're going to talk about so many things. See, my paper is full with questions. As Naomi is talking, I'm going to be ticking off. So you see why we should not waste any further time. If you know anybody that you know that would love this content, what you should do is share this video right now with them. Share the link on your social media. You don't know who might be interested and who you will be helping, so that they come and ask live questions. When I am done with this video, and nobody should come up be asking me questions about UK student visa. I am not working for British High Commission or UKVI.
Ambassador.
Okay. So thank you so much for joining. Could you just give us a brief introduction of yourself so I don't murder anything like the names of stuff?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Couscous, for having me.
You're
My name
welcome.
is Naomi Obogu. I'm an information professional. I'm a librarian by profession, and I currently study in the UK. I'm doing my master's degree in Aberystwyth University here in Wales, and I study information and library studies. That's all for now. Thank you.
Very interesting. Naomi is a very good professional. You want to know more about her? Go to her LinkedIn page. Okay. You see all the qualifications. I can't even number them. Okay. So well done. You're doing great. Thank you so much. Before I jump straight to asking you visa application questions, why exactly did you choose your university? Because there are a lot of other universities in UK. There are 1,001 universities in England. Why did you go to Wales? Why was it your university you decided to go with?
Well, I chose my university firstly because of the course. I wanted to study information and library studies, so I made some research, the best schools in the UK that does the course. So initially, my mind was actually going for me to take University of Glasgow, but the tuition fee was quite high. So, and then
I
I
know.
stumbled on Aberystwyth University, and it was a great choice for me because one, my course is number 10. They are number 10 for the study of librarianship in the UK, and that's a plus. And then secondly, the proximity of the university to the National Library of Wales, which is a copyright library, one of the copyright library in the UK, is very, very important. So I wanted a situation whereby I will be studying in the school and I'd also have the opportunity to also be in the university, in the National Library of Wales, to do some work like volunteering and all that. So it actually clicked well for me. And then thirdly, which was even the most important thing why I picked this school, is because of the free international scholarship for accommodation for international students. It means that you are staying in the accommodation for free. Like, it's not easy to get accommodation in the UK. As an international student, if you come in here, paying for accommodation is crazy. So if you see a school that is giving you free accommodation, I don't know why you should not take it. So Why should I be going to
I
London when I
see.
have a school that's giving me free accommodation in Wales? So I grabbed it. It was, and apart from that, their application process is very, very straightforward with this school. The truth of the matter is, I actually got an offer with them in 2020. Yeah, 2020, but I got the offer. I couldn't come to school because of work. So I just left it lying there. I didn't even defer. So later on, when I made up
Hmm.
my mind to come, I had to apply again. And it's very, very straightforward. Trust me, you can actually get your offer within the space of 1 to 2 weeks. So yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. And of course, if I were you, I would do the same thing because, getting accommodation, especially for international students, could be a hassle, which is why I'd like to just say thank you to the sponsors of this video. I know that if you have been watching our channel, now I'm talking to our viewers. If you followed me over time, I have introduced Amber students to my audience a lot of times. So Amber Student is the sponsor of this video, and I'm just going to take brief, maybe 1 or 2 minutes to talk about what their services are so that you guys can also benefit from it. So Amber Student is a platform that offers private student accommodation to students in the UK, okay? UK and a lot of other study abroad destinations. They have Australia and other countries in Europe. Now, considering I have heard a lot of horrible stories about international students getting accommodation in the UK, especially for this session. When I was studying in the UK, it wasn't that difficult. But this session, because of housing crisis, I'm hearing a lot of students, international students, are having issues with students' accommodation, which is where Amber Student comes in because they cater for international students, okay? They understand the challenges, they understand the issues that landlords usually ask for, guarantors, referrals, a lot of things that international students do not have. So that's why Amber Student comes in and they simplify all those issues for you. They provide paperwork. So what you need to do is, I'm going to paste the link to Amber Students in the chat, in the live chat. I'm also going to leave it at the description box to this video. How it works is you just visit the website, select the accommodation you want, filter it with your course, your budget, your university location, everything you need, go through the terms and conditions per property, read the reviews, and go for the property that just signify your interest. And once you signify your interest, bam, they take it up from there and ensure that all your paperwork is done. So wouldn't you just avoid the stress and hassle that other people are going through by using Amber Student? So yes, that's what Amber Student does. And thank you, Naomi, for mentioning the accommodation issue. Because, well, I have said it all. The link will be in the chat box. The link will also be in the description box. This video will also be saved so that those who missed the live session can rewatch. Okay? Unfortunately, they will not be able to ask live questions. And if they don't drop their questions, Naomi must have gone by then. But still drop your questions. I would hunt her down and ensure that she answers. Okay, Naomi. Now that you've told us why you selected your university, I'm not going to talk and I'm not going to ask questions around your accommodation and the experience because we have a different focus. I did a live session earlier in the week and the student was from University of Sunderland, an international student, and she shared her experience with accommodation. So yes, now I'm going to ask you the requirements that your university asked from you before you were given your confirmation of acceptance of studies, because CAS is the most important document for you to use to apply for your UK student visa. So before the university gave you that CAS, what did they require from you?
Yeah. So firstly was payment of my tuition deposits, which was clearly stated in the unconditional offer they gave to me. So I had to pay the deposit of 5,000. Initially, it was £2,000. I was trying to gather the money, they increased it to 5,000. So that was one of the requirements. The second requirement to get my CAS
Did you
was
see my mouth? Did you see my mouth? When you
it
said they
was
increased it
crazy.
from
Like people,
2005 to
so
5,000.
5,000. Yeah, some of my classmates already paid 2,000. So they had to start sourcing for balance because the school told them you have to pay up your balance before you get CAS. So it was really frustrating for people because the initial plan was 2,000. Then you just send an email that is not, £5,000. So it was crazy. So that was one of the requirements. And then the second one was statement of your bank account. My school usually requests for that. Other schools in UK, they don't even bother. But Aberystwyth University will want your statement of account, which I totally understand them, because one, you are still going to use that same statement to process your visa. They don't want a situation
Correct.
whereby that statement is having issues at the point of getting your visa or applying for visa. So they try as much as possible, but they have immigration kind of a little immigration office in the school that check documents before you even go and process your visa. So as part of the CAS requirements, statement of bank account is there, and then they will send you an offer letter. So you also send that offer letter, you fill and submit back to them. There are some basic questions you answer in the offer reply form. And then you complete a financial declaration form, which you also send back to them. So when they are sending your offer letter, unconditional offer letter, they will attach just 2 letters. That's for my school. And then evidence, for me, they added evidence of name change, because I had applied with my BSc certificates and all that, and I was bearing my dad's name before I got married. So now I'm using my husband's name to apply for the master's degree, which is Ubogu. And I previously bear the TATA in my, the document I submitted. So they needed that evidence that the certificate I use in applying for the master's program is actually my own. So the idea was that they wanted, change of name, affidavit. So I submitted change of name by what's it called, the one I published in newspaper.
The newspaper publication.
Yes. So basically, for me, it was 5 documents I submitted before I got my CAS. Number one, tuition payment deposit. Second, the bank statement, and then the offer form they sent to me, declaration form, and evidence of name change. Yeah.
Wow, that means you needed to have your money complete. We are going to talk about how much was in that bank statement.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell us. Oh, that's a fire alarm.
Yeah, that's a fire alarm.
We're going to just pause for a bit. Okay, it's gone.
Sorry about that.
Now, do you remember exactly what was in that financial declaration form?
Yeah, what was in the financial declaration form was they want to know if you're a self-sponsored student, or you got a scholarship, basically your sponsorship. They want to know that. Another question in the form was that if you are sponsoring yourself, probably you put in some details of your financial background and all that if you are working somewhere. And then do you have people that you are depending on? They want to know if you're going to be a struggling student, So those are the things they want to get.
Wow.
So it wasn't,
okay.
Just a 1-page document.
Interesting.
And it actually vary from school to school, though. So
of course, because you know why I'm even surprised? Because the last live session we did, it was a different thing entirely. They including, I think this you said they gave you an offer letter where they asked different questions. That one was like a CAS interview for that particular student, and she had mentioned the different questions they were asked. Okay, now talking about the bank statement, right? After you had submitted and received your CAS, did anything change?
Sorry, please let me come in. Now that you mentioned we actually did a pre-CAS interview. So after you submit this document, you're going to, and you pass through the check, especially your statement of account is okay for them. They will not book you down for pre-CAS interview. So I actually did a pre-CAS interview where they ask other questions like, why did you choose the university? Why did you pick UK? What are your career goals and all that. So I actually did that interview. The interview was the last stage before they now issued CAS.
Okay. So from the time you made deposit payment until that CAS interview, do you remember the duration?
It took me almost 2.5 months. Why? Because the delay was with my statement of accounts. I counted. Now, normally with my school, the money for your visa application fee and for your tuition has to still be in your account for 28 days. They are still doing that 28 days. That's what's it called?
That
is going to do. Yes.
So they have their own 28 days.
Yes. So, and what it means is that if you've counted that 28 days for my school and they accept it, you can easily use that same statement to apply for your
because
visa.
You're not waiting again.
Yes. So my own major delay, the setback I had was the Form A, Nigerian CBN Form A.
We're going to talk about that.
No, because you're asking me of duration. So I'm trying to let you know what builds up to the duration. So I had to be waiting
Okay.
for that one to drop before I could, finish up. So that's
Okay.
before we
Okay.
get to
So that
college.
means it was about 10 weeks between when you paid your deposit and when you received your CAS. Let's take it back to when you paid your deposit.
Mhm.
How did you process that deposit payment?
Yes. So the deposit payment I used CBN Form A, which I applied via the trade service portal. CBN, they have a trade service portal that you can, as international student, you can just register and have a portal, a personal portal where you can do your transactions. So that's where you initiate the Form A payment for tuition deposits.
Online.
So you fill
Online,
your
right?
yes online, yes online. So you fill the form and you take it to the bank where you want to do the transaction from. I, for one, I used my personal bank, my bank that I use, Zenith Bank. So I took it to the bank. Bank will give you some forms to fill. You attach your what's it called offer letter, because bank you have to show evidence that you're actually using this money for this purpose, which is for
Mm.
school or something. So I filled all that, submitted in the bank. So bank will now start doing the process. And there's always a long queue. So what they explained to me at the bank was that they do it on first come, first serve basis. But I really doubt if it's true, because most people at the end of the day, you'll be surprised that you even submitted your Form A before them and just had already gone through and yours is still on queue. So you have to have a very long hand, and be ready to at least maybe tip one or two people for them to speed up your process. So it took a while. So I
So
actually
that
used the
means
CBN Form A.
it was the Form A that took all the time.
It was the Form A. That's the simple truth. It was the Form A. Actually, there was other options of payment that my school had dropped on the website, which is like you're doing a transfer. But because of our CBN policy that you are not able to, do some
Restrictions on
amount,
international payment
yes,
and all.
restrictions. So it was crazy. If not, they had a platform known as LifeMate. LifeMate was there, but I couldn't use it. LifeMate or Checkmate, something like that. I couldn't use it. It was stressful.
Interesting. Just for clarity, do you remember from the time you submitted the Form A application on CBN's website and when your school confirmed that they had received the money?
It took about, I think, 2.5 months, yes, if I counted well, because I actually started that for me on time. I purposely started. The funniest thing is that the money in my account for my proof of fund was not even enough yet before I filled Form A.
Mm. No, but you
So I
needed
had
just
lost.
3.5.
Yes, I needed just is 5,000, 5,000 pounds was what I
£5,000
needed. Which,
rather.
yes, so which if I had converted to naira, then was about how much was it? The rates they gave me. The money was like, it was even up to 3 million. I don't even think it was even up to, it was about 2 point something million. It wasn't up to three
It was
million.
at the official bank rate, right?
Yes, official bank rate they give. I think they gave me, was it five something then? I can't
Per
remember, but
pound.
like 5 years per pound. That was what they gave me. So that was it for me. That was actually what stretched. If that money had dropped initially on time,
Yeah.
my school will issue cash because every other documents were complete. It was just that for me, tuition deposits.
Well, this should be a lesson if you know that you are applying for any of these things. Form A. Form A is an application that you make to the CBN to give you to change or exchange naira to pounds for you at the official rate. Because if you go to the black market, you're probably going to be exchanging at maybe 800, 900 per pound. But if you apply for Form A, it shows that you have an official reason why you need to exchange money. And education is one of those reasons where they are going to give you an authorized, the authorized rate. So that means Form A took more than 2 months. There's
Yeah.
no need, there's absolutely no need to rush. Even me, that I was not looking for authorized rates I wanted just for travel, and it was just chicken change.
Did you
I did
get?
not still get it. They kept telling me, come back. I applied on time. I applied like, if you go to the website for travelers, they'll tell you you should not apply earlier than 2 weeks to your travel date. And that
Yeah.
before you apply, you must have your bank, your travel, your visa, and your flight ticket. I applied way on time. 2 weeks.
This
I
is
did not get
crazy.
it.
That for me is frustrating.
So
Really, really
please, if you
frustrating.
are watching and you know you're going to be making your payments from Nigeria, I beg you in God's name, In fact, start processing that from A as early as, at this point, I can't even say from when, but the
That's
Lord
good,
will
yeah.
be on your side. Okay, so you got your CAS by the grace of God. Thank you, Jesus, that you got your CAS on time. Now, what were the documents you used to apply for this visa? Was it the same documents that school demanded for the CAS, or did you add any additional one or remove anyone?
Oh, I added more documents. So for me as a main applicant, because I had wanted to travel with my spouse, we travel actually came in together. I came in before him. So what happened was that I had to be preparing two sets of documents. And based on the fact that I already had prior experience, we studied abroad. I had worked with an educational consulting firm. So then I
Wow.
usually help to arrange document for students that want to go abroad. So it actually gave me a proper guidance. So what I did was that I started arranging my documents separately and my spouse's documents separately. So for me as the main applicant, the document I use in applying for visa was number one was the CAS, because without that CAS number,
Of
you can't
course.
even fill.
You can't start your application.
You
You
can't
can't
start.
submit
Yes.
because they're
So
going to
what
ask you for your CAS number.
yes, I remember vividly what I did when the formatting was not dropping and was becoming frustrating. I said, okay, let me even go and fill this visa application form down. Maybe later on I'll go and complete. And I went there. What they needed was that CAS. So I
CAS
didn't have
number.
yes. So number one document, CAS for main applicants. That's talking about the students now. You are the main applicant. If you are not going with anybody, you don't have applicant, you don't have any dependent, you are just the applicant. So CAS, my passport biodata page, my first degree certificate, transcripts, WAEC, either you have WAEC or your NECO certificate. And then for me, I'm married, my marriage certificates, I needed it there. I put it there. Then if I don't change of name as regards to marriage, I added that
Which
document,
you did.
which I did. So it was a newspaper change of name.
Publication.
Yes, newspaper publication, an affidavit. I did an affidavit, so I added. And then the second other document I added was my bank statement, the 28 days. What it means is that you've not touched that account, you've not dipped in, into that account, you've not withdrawn any money from it for 28 days period. Mine even was more than 28 days. I did like 30 days because I didn't want to take any chances.
Would you have paid in money?
Yes,
You
you can
can,
pay in money. You
but
can
you
pay in money,
cannot
but you can't
withdraw.
withdraw. Yes, there can be inflow, but no outflow from the account you are using. So the advice I will give at this point here is that if you know you are someone that wants to come, most of them don't want to use their account. They are probably using a sponsor's account. If, for example, you're a student that you have a parent that you're using your parent's account, ensure you tell them that for this period of time, they shouldn't just forget and just withdraw money from, or you start counting again. If you had counted to 20 days before and you put your hand in that money, your 28 days starts all over again. That's the idea. That's the way it works. Eh.
Oh, you
Because
did. You just have to block the account for that
yes,
period.
for that period. So that was another document, bank statement. And then the another document I submitted was family picture, because I'm married. They had to see the proof that I am actually married.
What
So I
about
had
your your marriage certificate? Is it not proof enough?
it's not proof enough for UKVI. They want to see that marriage picture. I photocopied my marriage picture. You usually do it in an A4 paper size. I used photocopy machine. That's why they want it in colored. So marriage pictures were there. You put some random pictures, not only marriage pictures. They want to see random pictures that you and this person is actually married. So I added some other random pictures I would take in car, maybe in church, went for an event
Okay.
and all that. Yes, and birthday certificate, a birth certificate rather, I had my birth certificate, and then tuberculosis certificate. You have to do your TB certificate
Of course, of
before you
course,
can
of
go to.
course.
So that was also there. And then employers reference letter for those who are working. Even if you are not working safe, you have to show that you've been doing something. So I collected the reference letter from my workplace. They wrote an introduction letter
Just
for
for
me.
that visa.
Yes, for that visa. So my documents were quite much as a main applicant. But why I did it that I didn't want to take any challenge, any
Any
chances,
chances?
because what we set up a platform, a WhatsApp group that people were sharing their experiences. Most students that were coming to my school. So some students they didn't give them visa. They had to tell them that their documents were not complete. This is missing. What have you been doing for the past 5 years? You cannot just say you graduated for 10 years. What have you been? They want to know that. So you have to write like a state, like something to say that this is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
So there was an introduction letter for my workplace. What else again? And then my NYC certificate was there. So for my introduction letter, I collected from my workplace, and then the place I had worked before in Lagos, I collected a letter stating that I'd worked with them for a period of time. So I got two introduction letter, which was quite good.
Wow, you were quite thorough.
Yes, my documents were much. So I was already confident that there is no way I'm not getting this visa. I don't even know what they will even, because like I gave them enough documents. And then for my
Wow.
husband's zone, which is the dependent, let me just talk about his document at this point.
Did you
Should I?
submit before? Yes, of course, you're going to share that. But just to clarify, did you submit both applications at the same time?
Yes, I did. I applied together at the same time. I started
But they
filling
were
mine
two
first.
separate applications.
Two separate applications, yes.
Okay.
So I filled mine first before filling his own the same day. The same day.
Did you submit your visa application before submitting his own?
No, I submitted mine first before submitting his own.
So you were able to
Because
get that
I'm going
number.
because I'm going to use
That
my number.
reference
Yes,
number.
for the reference number. Exactly. Yes.
Yes. Because the main applicants would give the dependent the reference number to use.
Reference number.
Okay.
Yes.
So the documents for your dependent.
So for the dependent, his documents were his passport, biodata page, marriage certificate was there, and then change. So if, for example, now the dependent is a woman, let's say I'm a man, and then we flip it the other way around. The dependent is not a woman. You put your change of name because you're married to someone that you're going with. The same way I did change of name, affidavit, and all that. And then bank statements. So basically, for my husband's son, we're using my bank statement for
The
proof
one,
of fund.
is it the same you submitted for yourself?
Exactly the same one. The same one. No difference.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Does it
was the
mean
same
that
thing.
the money that was there was enough for you and him?
Exactly. So you're going to calculate the money for your spouse. It should be in your account as well. So the money I calculated was my own money, my balance of tuition fee. I deducted from that deposit I had already paid. The balance I was to
Yes.
pay the school. And then my what's it called, living expenses was
Living
there.
expenses.
Yes. And then my dependent living expenses. Those are the money that need to be in your account for 28 days.
So you need the balance of your tuition in this proof of funds.
Exactly. It has to be there. They have to see that the money is there, so that you don't come to the UK and be stranded. Most people go to the UK with the notion of, oh, if I get there, I will start working and I will pay from there. They don't want to hear that. So your money has to be in your account.
Okay, great. Wow, okay, that's interesting. Do you
So for
mind
his own,
telling us?
his documents, the extra document I also added, TB certificate was also there.
For him,
And then, yes, his birth certificates are added, then proof of fund consent. Now, I've given him my statement of account to use. You have to write a consent stating that, yes,
that what?
I am giving him the consent to use my statement of account to apply for this visa, because we are married, we are legally married, and this money belongs to two of us, but we are using my account. So you are giving him that consent to use your account for visa application. If you don't put that letter, it won't go through.
That was just a normal letter from you, right? It did not need any certifying at the court or anything.
No. I just even wrote it in there. I just typed it in Microsoft Word and I just printed it out.
So what I'm gathering from here is, whosoever account you are using, you have to justify the relationship that you have with that person. Is it your employer? Is it your sponsor? If yes, your sponsor, on what capacity? A relative, a parent, a sibling? That's how, if you are not using a bank statement that bears your name, it's not illegal. Just explain in a separate document, letter, explain the relationship. How come about you are using another person's bank statement? Wow, interesting. Oh my God. I know some of these things, but it's always better to hear from somebody who actually did the process, because these processes change, the rules change over time. Before you know it, it's like the rules change every 3 months. So we need fresh information. Okay. Now, before we move away from the bank statement, and you said the amount you needed in that bank statement was your living expenses, your dependents' living expenses, and the balance to your tuition. I know that the dependents' living expenses is usually cheaper than the main applicant's living expenses. So how much was your living expenses? And how much was your dependent's living expenses? And how many months? Did you put it for 12 months or 9 months?
Yes, so for the dependent living expenses, his own was 6,125 pounds, and then mine was 9,165 pounds.
Okay. And then, so is that divided by 9 or so by 9 I mean divided by 9 months
900
or 12 months?
For
9 months.
9 months.
9 months.
Yes, 9 months. Yes, for 9
okay.
months. Yeah.
Great. Yes, that's it. If you guys have any questions surrounding this proof of funds issue, bank statement, please drop it in the chat box now that Naomi is still here. Okay, now that is proof of funds, yeah. How much then did you pay for your visa application? Because I know that before you submit your visa application, you have to pay for the visa itself and for IHS. Sorry, I'm asking you about a lot of numbers. Bear with us, please. And also, if you're watching this and you think it's helpful, please, you have to signify in the chat box in the comment section so that Naomi would see that she's actually helping.
Okay, so the money I paid for my visa application is $445 USD.
Okay. $445 USD.
Yes, so that's what I also paid for my dependent as well. So
okay. And what about IHS?
IHS was 864.71. That was what I paid. 864 pounds. 71.
Pounds or dollars? Because the first one
sorry,
you gave us dollars.
Dollars.
Are you sure
dollars.
It's dollars?
Sorry, guys. I'm saying pounds now. It's dollars, yes.
Are you sure it's dollars?
It's dollars. It's not pounds.
Is it dollars on the website?
It's on the website. Dollars,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The only time I paid while I was calling dollars, I paid $250 for priority visa. Let me state that now.
Wait. We're getting hold on. We are getting there. Your visa fee and your dependent visa fee was $445 each.
Yes.
The applicant's visa was IHS rather was $864.74.
Yes.
So how much was that the IHS for your dependent? Because I think I missed that.
IHS for my dependent was the same amount.
Same amount.
0.71. The same amount.
I was thinking it would be cheaper. Somebody is saying that on the website he saw pounds. So, but you're sure that it was dollars. Okay. So, but from what that means is that it is the equivalent of pounds. So, if you convert this to pounds, it's going to be lesser than 445 and 864. So, it's the same amount. It's just it depends on where you are logging in from. They may show you pounds. They might show you dollars, but it's definitely going to be the same amount when you convert between dollar and pounds. Wow. So after paying this, you now paid $250 for priority for yourself or for your dependent or both?
For me as a main applicant, you can't pay for priority visa for dependents. You can't. Priority visas is only for main applicants. It's only for main applicants. And then when
because your application was submitted that's because you literally submitted the both applications on the same day.
No,
right?
Even if you don't submit on the same day, in as far the person is coming in as a dependent, you can't pay for priority.
There's no priority for that.
There's no priority for dependent. The only thing that the dependent can get is a walk-in with the main applicant. So, but it will cost the dependent extra 42,000 naira. So I paid for priority for myself, and I paid 42,000 naira for walking.
For the walking. So you guys can go together
the same day. Yes, that was what I did. That's the way.
Wow. So that priority was how much again? Sorry.
£250. That was in pounds, not dollars. They collect that one in pounds.
This is expensive. Okay, but what I was trying to say is, for instance, you're already in the UK, and your dependent now wants to apply for visa. I want to believe that when the person applies, maybe 3 months or 4 months later, the person should be able to access priority service. I want to believe
it doesn't work. I haven't heard it. Well, I think I will ask, but what is stated there is that if the person is coming in as a dependent, they don't do priority. But you can
Okay, so
just fill the
normal,
application and get a date for normal
yeah,
working and all.
normal processing time is 3 weeks. The only
Yes.
issue is always getting a biometric capture date. That's why just learn to do things on time. Wow, we are making progress. My questions are gradually being answered. So now, after you paid for all this priority, how long did it take for a visa to come? Because standard visa application is 3 weeks, right? 21 working days. This
Yeah.
priority, was it to get an early biometric date and to now get your early visa, or which one was it for?
Priority was for both for me. Early
Both.
biometric
Okay.
dates and early
Mm-hmm.
visa. And it actually
Okay.
worked. So my visa came out within 7 days, 1 week. And the
It
funniest
paid
thing
off,
was that
Abby.
my
Money
husband's visa came
speaks.
out before my own.
Oh, so he got the email first.
Yes, he got the email first before I even got mine. So his own came like a day before I got mine.
Are you serious? These dependents are
Yeah.
just being pampered. You did all the work.
Okay.
You paid the money. They got they enjoy.
Yes, so
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Wow. So $250 is worth cutting the time short. 1 week versus
£250.
£250 rather. So 1 week versus 3 weeks to 4 weeks. Okay, that is actually good. We're making progress. Now, I think I'm gonna ask this other question at the end of all the visa issues. Now let's talk about. Oh, so you did. I want to assume you didn't do visa interview. Did you?
No, there was no visa interview. It was just capturing. So what I paid 11,700
Now, me, you
for
were just
assisted
paying
service.
money. You were just
For
paying
assisted service.
money.
For assisted services in TLS center. What I did was that I wanted them to upload my document themselves. I did not
Okay.
upload my
Okay.
document. So at the point of filling the visa application, you can actually upload your document at the end of the process. But I
Yep.
decided not to do that because I didn't want
Mm-hmm.
any issues in terms of maybe
Yep.
resolution,
Yep.
size of the
Mm-hmm.
document. So I paid extra 11,000 for assisted service. So what I did
At
when I
the
got to the center,
at
I
the
had this.
TLS center inside.
No, I
Okay.
transferred. I transferred the money.
And what
Then
I'm saying is the
the
document
scanning,
uploads is going to be
yes,
done by them, right?
by them. So they did all the document scanning themselves when I got there, and then I
For
proceeded
additional
for
11,000.
Mhm.
11,000 should be like maybe a little above £13. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not bad for comfort and for no stories. Ha, I've heard
yes.
so many horror stories about visa application. So, okay. Um, Now there was no visa interview, so no need to ask you what were you asked and all of that. I think what universities do for that pre-CAS interview is what works, because by the time they talk to you during that interview, you provide them, and then they'll also help to clarify any issues and probably tell you the kind of things to write in your application. And the CAS also comes with all the information that you need for your visa application. So it
Yeah.
helps shorten the process for the students. So it's also a very good thing. Let me see, because we'll get plenty questions. Okay. So one of the questions I asked it was, what documents did you submit as proof of dependence? So you mentioned you submitted wedding certificates, wedding pictures, and random pictures showing that you guys stay together. Did they ask you of maybe accommodation or address that shows that it's shared address that you guys stayed together?
No, they didn't. They didn't ask that.
Okay. So
They
it was
didn't ask
just
that.
random pictures. They didn't
Random
ask for
pictures.
bank statements that showed this one paid me, because I used to hear stories. Some people will say they wanted to see bank statement that showed that he has been transferring money to my account.
No, I didn't even add all those ones. So I think another thing I added was call logs. Our conversation
Oh,
call logs. Yes.
yes.
So we
Yes.
printed that one out.
Yes.
Yes. So we did a lot of screenshots of call
Did they
logs.
ask for that?
Yes, they asked for that for mine.
Why are they asking for call logs? That's
I don't
invasion
even
of
know.
privacy.
So what I did was screenshots of, maybe it's not that maybe they had seen the doc, it was the conversation this guy had, but at least at so date he called me, so month he called me. So we're just picking random call logs. So I printed it in
Wow.
A4 paper and I actually added that as well.
I hope this is very helpful for those who want to apply with dependents, because somebody has come to my DM to ask me, Couscous, I want to. I don't think it's okay to even share that here, so we're just going to move on.
Uh,
Okay, so you've told us how much was the proof of funds. We're actually making great progress. You've told us this one as well. So, because I had a question, did you use a different bank statement to show proof of funds for your dependent? You've already answered that for us. You used the same, but the dependent had to justify with a letter. Now, in the visa application, they used to ask for the address. And
yes.
fine, you used a student accommodation address. So, what address did your dependent put for UK address?
It was the same. I used my school
Okay.
accommodation address for him, and it
Do you
worked. It
know
was
if
okay.
it is a requirement for dependent to actually use the same address? Do you have an idea about that?
Yes, it's a requirement to have the same address. I think. I think
Yeah, I think it's also
because
common sense, because if you're saying that you're married and used to live together in Nigeria, then you should
yes, there's no
definitely,
reason why you should not live together.
yeah. All right. I think I've asked this question. Now, please tell us throughout the process, what did you encounter any challenges? And if so, what was it and how did you go through, get past it?
Well, the challenges I had was at the point of payment of my visa fee and the IHS. I needed a dollar debit card. I didn't have one. So I was stuck. Thank God I had a colleague in the office that had the dollar card. So what I did was that I paid money into his account, and I used his card for the transaction. So the advice is that if I had known initially, I would have gotten a debit card from the bank. I didn't get one. So that was really challenging for me because I had gotten to the point of payment and I was stuck. I couldn't even make the payment immediately because I had to be doing the transfer to his account before, I had to go to the
So,
bank.
so
But
you
I
couldn't
called.
use a Naira card to make that
No,
payment?
you can't use Naira card. You can't, my dear. You can't use Naira
But
card.
that's not from UKVI, that's from Nigeria, right?
It's from Nigeria. That's not. It's not issue of UKVI. So most people were even opting for the option of people paying for them from abroad.
I know,
You
right?
understand?
So avoid
Yes.
issues.
So that was a major challenge for me. And then making payments with what other one did I buy? I had to buy. So I bought dollar black markets. That was
To go
another
and
challenge.
pay into their friend's
Yes, because
account.
I had some dollar before, but it was not enough because I had to calculate my husband's own, my own, so it was a lot. So I ran quickly to all these guys that I can get dollars from. I converted naira and I bought dollar and I paid to the
And that
guys.
was outside the proof of funds account. You didn't touch that proof
I
of
didn't
funds
touch
at
that.
all.
I didn't touch the proof of fund at all. I didn't touch it.
Interesting. So, guys, you've heard it is challenging to make payments with a Nigerian account, Nigerian bank card. So you have to find alternative ways. Okay, it's quite a pity. I think that's one of the most challenging issues we have in Nigeria, making international transactions. I think they should find a way to resolve this. I remember when I wanted back then, we didn't have so much restrictions as now. In 2020, when I wanted to leave, my bank gave me a card that was strictly for payments. So I deposited foreign currency into that card and I could use the card until when it's exhausted, then the card becomes irrelevant because it wasn't like an account. It was just a card to make international payments. So if you avert your mind to these things and then you go to the bank and actually speak to them, they would find solutions. But if the person is in a hurry and then does not even know that this kind of challenges exist, then that's going to be the problem. So thank you for sharing that. At least our viewers would know to take care of that.
Yeah.
Now, tell us, when you got your visa, your student visa, what duration was provided there, and also what was the duration of your dependent visa? First of all, start with telling us the duration of your course, the duration of your visa, and the duration of your dependent visa.
So the duration of my course is 1 year. My program is just for 1 year. So what was stated on my visa, the truth is that when I got the visa, when I opened the visa page, I didn't see duration stating that your visa is for 1 year for your program. So
No,
what
you
was
only see the expiry date.
the expiring date of it was even the expiring date for me to travel out of Nigeria actually. So initially
Okay,
I
okay,
was
okay,
like, did
okay,
they
okay,
make
okay.
mistake?
True, 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 true,
Yes,
true.
I was like, did they make a mistake? Because I was not confused, and I saw mine was valid from 20th of September. That was when they issued it till 19th of December
Because
2022.
you must enter the UK before then.
Yes, so it means that I must travel within this period to the UK.
Yep,
But
yep,
my
yep,
visa was stated multiple entry. I can go in and come out of the UK during the process or
yeah,
during the duration of my program. But it was not stated
yes.
there that is 1 year. So when it was until I got here that I got
Got
my
your
biometric
biometric
card.
permit that you now see the expiry date.
So for my biometric, it
True.
expires on 2024. Yeah, January
2024
2024.
January, right? Yeah,
Yes.
true.
Same for my dependents as well.
Now, there was no, I know that in the visa application form, they will ask you, when would you like to travel? Was the date they gave within the date you provided?
Yes, it was within the dates they provided.
Okay.
Yes. Mm.
So yeah, if you apply for a visa, any visa at all, they usually would give you a date to enter the country. And if you don't enter the country before then, in fact, what they are giving you is not a visa, it's an entry permit. So it is when
Exactly.
you enter the country, you now go convert it to a visa.
Mm.
So it applies to just any visa. So when you arrived in the UK, how long did it take for you to get your biometric permit?
It was just I got it the next day. I arrived there on a Friday night, and then the next day morning, I just walked down to the post office to get
To
it.
the post
It was
office to
ready
go.
before I
That was
got there.
fast
Yeah,
though.
yeah, it
But
was ready
in the
before I
letter
got
they
there.
always say 10 days.
I was
Okay,
shocked.
I
I
think
just
it's
got there
it's I think it's 10 days from
when the
if they
visa
gave
is
you 20.
issued.
Yeah, if they gave you 20th September, they would
Yeah.
say that your BRP will be ready maybe 10 days from then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that means that is fast. And then there are, I wouldn't say rumors, there are news that in the coming year in 2023 they would be phasing out the BRP and everything would just be online. So for instance, you when you're done with studies and you want to switch your visa to graduate visa or to skilled worker, they won't even need to they will not give you a BRP. They will just give you a share. I think share code. They call it share code,
Share code. Okay.
where you
Yeah.
where you can use. Everybody uses. So, the one I'm hoping for is the one that we don't have to. We don't have to, stamp our passport. That's the one
Yeah.
I'm waiting for. Because
Yes.
in some countries now you don't have to stamp your passport when they give you
Exactly.
visa. It's just an online thing because you need that stamping
It's
passport thing.
stressful.
You first of all, you're not going to travel all the time there with your passport, and secondly, you have to probably travel. For instance, in Nigeria, TLS office is not much. Some people have
Yeah.
to travel all the
Travel.
way to
It's
Abuja or
crazy.
Lagos just because they want to stamp their passport. So that would be a good thing as well.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much, Naomi. You've been so helpful and thorough. Guys, please appreciate Naomi in the comment section. You guys are not, I'm not feeling you guys in this life. Oh. You guys are so quiet. You're not even appreciating Naomi. You're not even saying anything. Is it because I'm so focused today? Because usually I will be bantering in the chat box. Today we are too focused. Visa issues is
It's
a
serious.
serious issue.
Serious issue.
So I
Yeah.
cannot be wasting time. Look, we've been speaking for 53 minutes and we still have some questions. That's why I don't have time to banter. But guys, if you're watching this and you know that you've gotten value, you've learned something, appreciate Naomi in the comment section. Also drop your comment section because I am wrapping this video up. Naomi has to go back to school. Now talking about the fact that dependents will now be enjoying on top another person's visa. Tell us a bit more. They are saying, well done, Naomi. Thank you, Jare
Thank you,
Basefo.
guys.
Thank you for being active in this. Some people are just silent learners. They just collect all the good things and quietly go. If I'm a lecturer, you must talk in my class because others that will come and be gaining all the knowledge, they're not saying it. Let's not even go there. Now, for dependents, visa has rules, right? What
Yeah.
are the restrictions on your visa and that of your dependent with respect to work?
Yeah, with respect to work, my restriction was just 20 hours per week. I can only work 20 hours per week. I can't exceed that. It's clearly stated on the visa. And then for the dependent, there's no restriction. The only restriction he has is that he cannot participate in sporting activities.
Mm.
What do I mean by sporting activities? Cannot say, okay, want to go and join in the Olympics now and start playing one game and represent Nigeria. You can't do that. So it's stated there. Anything that related to athletics,
Oh,
being a sport person, it can't do that. But you can do every
wow.
other job. Yeah.
That's interesting. I really do want to go back to the UK as a dependent because I don't want to stress myself. I want to be enjoying. All right. So we're wrapping up. Now, looking back, right? Looking back, your application, your all the whole thing that went through, what do you think you would have done differently with this information? If you had all the information you have now based on your experience, what would you have done differently?
Number one, get a dollar debit card. Because that point where I got stuck,
Pin.
that was
Let me
painful.
pin that comment.
Yes, get a dollar debit card. Ensure you pay all your money there. If I had done that, it would have been totally different for me, you know. But thank God I had a colleague that just came to my rescue. He was in the office that day, so I had to go collect his card. And then make up your mind on time if you're coming to the UK and start gathering your documents, you know. Arrange your documents. I got a folder, you know, I started putting my documents in the folder bit by bit. Because the truth of the matter is that you're not going to get all your documents once. You'll be waiting for CAS. While you are waiting for CAS, just be arranging your documents. So there were a lot of things I didn't start on time because I was like being skeptical of coming to the UK at first. I wanted to go to
Yeah.
Canada. So I was waiting for Canada stuff. So it was the last minute that I said, okay, let me take UK. So I didn't prepare on time. If I prepare on time, I will do my forme on time. So guys, do your forme on time. Get the visa, the dollar debit card on time. I would have done all that differently, and it would have been a different ball game for me. But anyway, it was still a good one, though. But at least
To the
I've learned.
glory of the Most High Jesus.
Yes.
Interesting. You know, now when you say this, do your Form A on time. At this point, I don't know what to tell people. I don't have to say do it 3 months ahead or 4 months ahead or 6 months ahead. 6 months when you may not even have gotten admission. I don't know. But I think the Nigerian banking system should do better. Come on now.
They should.
Okay.
They should.
Thank you so much for that question. And we're wrapping up now because we have 3 minutes to go. I already told Naomi I don't want to exceed 1 hour on this. Like we've been talking, and if we just keep talking and sharing, it cannot even finish. If you have any last minute questions, I'm looking at the chat box. So for Naomi, okay, I think you've already advised people on what to do based on what you would have done differently. Just give us your last words based on your visa application experience, your UK study abroad experience. I can't even ask you questions based on your academics because that one is a different ball game. I might have to bring you next year to come and talk about that. But
Yeah.
just give them your last words, because I know that a lot of people will come back, would see this video after this live has ended, they'll watch and they'll still ask further questions. So is there anything you think we didn't cover or is important for them to know in this process? And even if it has to do with arriving in the UK, living in the UK, studying as an international student, just give us your final words.
Well, my final words is that always try to, you know, convert the amount you are seeing in dollar or in pounds to naira, so that you have an idea, you know, of what you're going to be
Yeah.
dealing with. So what I did at every point in time, I try as much as possible to convert the money that I need to be in my account. Like for the money that was supposed to be in my account for my proof of fund for my spouse and I, it was 16 million naira in naira. So this is more easier for you than be wrapping your head around. Okay, I need to have this. So
Dollar,
just easily
pounds.
convert. Yes, easily
Yeah.
convert to naira so you can get the quick understanding of how the money thing is. And then another thing is that try as much as possible. It's been rosy all year. UK is a very beautiful place, and I trust me, you're going to love it when you get to the UK. It's just that it's the process of getting here is a little bit stressful. But when you get here, you are relaxed, you are better, you are fine. If you are a student that is coming to a school that you need to secure accommodation before coming, please secure
Hmm.
accommodation before coming. Kusemek talked about the Amber accommodation.
It's like I mentioned my sponsor again.
Yeah, so
Amber
please,
Students
you
is a
guys, I think
private student
I've been seeing
accommodation.
their
I
posts.
did not share that link. Let me
I
share
could
that
share
link.
it now. I've been seeing their posts,
So,
and they have good accommodation. So
yes. So
ensure.
what Amber Student does is they host. It's an accommodation platform. They host a variety of private student accommodation on that website. So once you visit the website, I've posted it on the link. Once you visit the website, you can search through accommodation. And because they are dealing with international students, they're already used to the frequent issues with landlords. And because they are also hosting the student accommodations, the terms are not as rigid as random housing for students. I know some international students, and another thing is book your accommodation on time.
On time,
Know
because
me.
you need that. You
Do
even
you
need
know
that
that?
address. We need
Do
the
you know
address.
that when you go to Amber student website, a lot of cheap accommodations are sold out because people book on time. Because who know like better thing?
Yes,
You will
no.
filter based on your cost, the closeness to your university.
Mm-hmm.
People they are sold out. There was one that one of my followers had to reach out to me to come and beg for. So we had to now like follow up on the accommodation, and the person was so lucky that they had one unit left. I think somebody did not accept the offer, and that availability was there, and they
I think it's a good platform. I think I'll even try it out when I'm wrapping up my program, because most of the accommodation that I want to go and search for yourself, they ask a lot of
is there
questions,
actually.
a lot of
Yes.
documents for
Yeah.
you to, bring this, bring that. So if you
And they
see,
have pictures and videos on the website. They
I'll
also
check
have
them out when
student
I'm
reviews.
wrapping up my program.
They have student reviews such that you can see this, you can read through the student experience on this website. Somebody says proof of funds, any contact for sponsorship. Well, the thing is, I have seen a couple of people, or should I say companies, reach out to me to say, or maybe drop in my comment section, we offer proof of funds services. But the thing is, I see some of the interest is ridiculous, and other ones, maybe I don't just trust the service, because somebody can say, oh, proof of funds, and it could be, I don't want to say fraudulent, but especially because I don't have a personal relationship with these people, or I don't know them before, it might be more difficult for me to recommend them. But yes, you can message me privately on my social media, Instagram, and I can see if I can recommend one or two platforms. Naomi, thank you so much.
No problem.
I'm so excited. I feel like a burden has been lifted, because I really needed this. Guys, I beg of you, share this video to your contacts. I know what I'm saying. For the past 3 months, my highest viewed videos has been on visa application, which is why this Q&A was very important. And you've heard from the horse's mouth. Did it herself, did it with her dependents, got the visa, no denial, no rejection, nothing. And she's chilling now in that cold UK. I love your cardigan and headband though. Pink girl.
Thank
I'm the
you.
pink girl. Why are you copying me? Eh?
It's me now.
All right. My regards to your dependents.
Thank you. It's gonna
All right. Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Kiki.
I wish
Thank
you the
you
very
so much.
best in your studies application.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to end this live now. Thank you so much, guys, for
All
joining.
right.
I'm going to save the video, and the link to Amber Student is going to be in the description box. So whenever you come, you can check it out. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.